What's going on at number 10? I'm a head spinning. I have no idea where we are.
OK. So they're basically... The reason your head's spinning is meant to spin. They tell us different things on different days. That's the problem. And as time goes on, the truth starts to come out. And now we have a civil servant who's furious about the way in which they have been telling lies. But essentially, when Chris Fincher was a junior minister in the Foreign Office, there were allegations saying that he had been guilty of inappropriate behaviour. There was an investigation done internally and it was found to be substantiated, that he had been behaving inappropriately. We don't know what that means. But we do know that his boss knew, and that was Dominic Raab, and we know that the Prime Minister knew. And what happened was that the guy was promoted. He became housing minister instead, and then he ends up being one of the whips. And so it's as if it didn't matter. And I just think about that poor victim who came forward and spoke about what Fincher had done to him, and it's dismissed as unsubstantiated one day, and then when it is substantiated, they go, oh, well, there were no live allegations at the time. So it's either unsubstantiated when they're investigating it, or it's in the past once they have. Whatever happens, it's not important as far as they're concerned, because they're looking after their own and they're quite happy to just lie about it.
Well, I did put, we had quite a robust conversation with Mr. Raab in the last hour, and he made the point that the person that had made the allegation didn't want it to go any further. I said, well, could be for all sorts of reasons. He acknowledged that, but he said that they didn't want to take it any further, and that he had been spoken to in very strong terms, Mr. Fincher, and told not to do it again. Subsequent claims, we don't know if they are true or not. You're innocent until proven guilty.
And they had the Deputy Chief Whip who wasn't allowed out without a minder. That's what they accept. They accept that he had a minder. You have an MP who can't be allowed out on their own and their Deputy Chief Whip. That's what this party is, that's what this government is based on. And then the Prime Minister just lies about it and just goes, oh, well, I just know about generalised allegations. I don't know about anything in particular.
But we don't know that he knew anything specific, do we?
Well, we know that there was an investigation done by the Cabinet Office, and we know that it was found to be a substantiated allegation. There was something to it. There was something in it. And that was then told to his boss. We've heard today from Dominic Raab that he told the man off, and it didn't go any further than that. And then the Prime Minister makes a decision about promoting him to Housing Secretary.
Housing Minister, I think.
Sorry, Housing Minister.
Yeah, but it was several years later, is what we're being led to believe, that the second time round when he was going to be Deputy Chief Whip, that the Prime Minister potentially might have known. I mean, it's even complicated trying to explain it. He might have known what had happened, but nevertheless, Dominic Raab said he was a brilliant minister, and as a result, he should be in the position that he's in.
We hear all sorts of things, and we hear about his former spin doctor, the Prime Minister's former spin doctor, saying that the Prime Minister used to call him Pincher by name. I mean,
but we don't know that's true. That's hearsay.
We hear all of this.
Total hearsay.
Absolutely, absolutely. But we keep hearing that there are allegations that are substantiated, and there are further allegations. It goes on and on. The man is not allowed to be a minister. Theresa May takes a different view. Boris Johnson kind of shrugs his shoulders. And you just wonder this. How much more of this do we need? This comes on the back of how many scandals have we had? What about the previous one? Well, the last one. Can't even remember what the last one... Oh, the last one was his wife, girlfriend at the time. He wanted her to get this job, £100,000 in the Foreign Office. Allegedly. Another one, allegedly. We hear this, and he's trying to promote her into that, so that, that we have that. We have, one thing after another, and what we essentially say is we shrug our shoulders and we go, well, we know our Prime Minister's a liar, it's just like how it is.
Your party's not without guilt, is it?
Can you imagine the leader of any other party behaving like that?
No, I'm thinking about
given any laxity at all, nothing.
I'm thinking about Eric Joyce, 2020, convicted of child sex offences, and this year former Labour peer Lord Ahmed jailed for 5.5 years for sexually abusing 2 children.
Yeah.
What on earth is going on in that chamber over there?
I think there is a culture in Parliament which is completely unacceptable. I've been there for 17, 18 years now, and there is certainly a culture of misogyny and bullying and senior people taking advantage of more junior people. And I think there is a minority of people who go much further than just simply bullying and misogyny. and there is an exploitation, I think, of junior people, and it's disgraceful. And what we have to do is we have to deal with it person by person, individual by individual. And the way that we do it is by being honest and straightforward and showing a bit of leadership. And that's what we don't get at the moment.
When should the police get involved?
I think the police should get involved when there is a serious allegation. I think that's what should always happen.
So should they be involved with the Fincher case?
I don't know how serious it is. I don't. I see. There's the problem.
That's the point.
Is that we don't know.
We don't know how serious.
No, we don't know.
So we don't know. Here at hang, drawing, and quartering the man, and we don't know how serious the allegations are. Well,
we know that there have been a series of allegations over a long period of time. And we know that they decided that the best thing to do with him was to not let him out without a minder.
So you're suggesting there's potentially a pattern. I'm putting it to you, given what we've been saying from both sides of the House and the situation that youngsters find themselves in. The unions are saying it's not a safe place to work. Should the police start to get involved with Mr. Fincher to find out exactly what did go on, and you have to accept what the outcome is?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think that if there have been serious allegations made, I think the police should be involved. I mean, I just think they should. I don't think there's any other way around it. I mean, it has to be. It has to be. You know, we can't just say this is okay, because it's not okay. It's not okay for this to keep happening. It's not okay.
What do you think has happened as far as Mr. Fincher is concerned and the Prime Minister? What do you think he knew?
I think the Prime Minister knew that he relied on Mr. Fincher, because when there was this rebellions, he's been relying on Fincher to help him as a whip to kind of keep his position. So he's been essentially just turning a blind eye to any allegations because it suited the Prime Minister to turn a blind eye to it. And the Prime Minister is not exactly the first person to have the highest standards of personal behaviour, and he turns a blind eye to other people.
Do you think if Durham Police find that your leader does deserve a fixed penalty notice, that the NEC should turn a blind eye to his suggestion that he should step down, or do you think he should be honourable and step down, as he said he would?
He's going to stand down. Yeah, he's going to stand down.
But the NEC doesn't have to accept that?
Well, I mean, he's going to stand down, and he said he's going to stand down. It's perfectly clear. I mean, he was asked about it yesterday and said, if I get a fine from Durham Police, I will stand down. What a difference. What a difference. What a contrast to our Prime Minister. But it's not going to happen anyway, because he hasn't done anything wrong.
Well, you don't know.
Well, I do know he hasn't done anything wrong.
Well, we have to wait and see what
we'll have to wait and see what the police say.
And if he gets a fixed penalty notice, even if he doesn't accept that he deserves it, he says that he's going to step down.
Oh, no, that's right. That's what he said.
Does it need, given what we've been talking about the situation, I was trying to tiptoe through the raindrops then on how to describe the Chamber of the House of Commons, but does Labour need a smart, sassy woman like you to lead them?
No. What we need is Keir Starmer to be the next Prime Minister, and we need a country that is led by a decent and honourable person. And that's what we have in Keir Starmer. You know, it does help us in the Labour Party that we have 50%, more than 50% of our MPs are women. I think that the culture in the Labour Party has changed as a result of that. I think that there's, just in terms of mathematics, it's better. But I think in terms of the culture, in terms of the challenge, it's much clearer and stronger because we are a more equal party than we have been before. Yes. And the Boys Club...
My question was, would you stand?
Keir is not going to stand down because Keir is not going to get fined.
No, but
he's not going
to.
It doesn't even arise. He's not going to get fined because he hasn't done anything wrong. He's going to lead the Labour Party to the next general election, and I hope that the British public give us permission to serve them.
So that's not a no then. We'll have to wait and see what happens as far as
it's not going to happen. It's not.
Well, we'll see. You don't know. You don't have a crystal ball, and if you do, you could tell me what's going to win the 345 at Haydock. Keir Starmer was saying yesterday that Labour wouldn't rejoin the single market. How does that make you feel?
Well, I mean, it's realistic. Leaving the European Union was a one-way street. We're not going to be able, even if the British public said, oh, yes, let's have another 2 years of fighting about this and another referendum, we wouldn't be able to rejoin the European Union on the same terms that we were members before. We'd have to join the euro. We wouldn't be able to get our rebate. We would have to join Schengen, which is all about, protecting our borders. All of these things would change. We wouldn't be able to go back in the way that we were. So we are where we are now.
So you're falling in line now?
No, what I'm saying is that I'm a pragmatic politician, and I know that in 2019 we were defeated. We had to leave. And so now that we've left, we have to look after our country and make sure that the right decisions are being made. Now, I want us to have a great future as a country. I believe that we can, but we can't do it by pretending that there aren't issues with the European Union at the moment. We need to be able to export our cheese to Europe. We need to have a veterinary agreement. We need to agree that we have the same food standards as the rest of Europe. I have no idea why the government refuses to have a veterinary agreement with Europe. I mean, New Zealand does. Why can't we? There are a number of things we need to sort out with Europe. They're our nearest neighbours. They're the ones we do most of our trade with. But they say, oh, we've done Brexit. We're not going to bother with any of the problems that continue to plague us, let alone having no idea as to what to do in terms of Northern Ireland.
I was just about to say 5 points that Keir Starmer says he's going to use to fix Brexit, one of them being the Northern Ireland Protocol. I was going to ask you how to fix it, and then I thought, that's going to take 2 hours and we don't have it.
Yes.
Maybe we'll do that.
But we need a plan, that's the point. We need a plan,
we do.
And Labour has one.
Come back in our 9 o'clock hour one of these days and we'll talk about it in much more detail when we've got more time.
I'd love to.
Thank you very much indeed. Thank you.